Hey team, so today I'm going to cook for you my blue cheese beef with barbecued onions and roasted grape. It's a fantastic technique and I've been wanting to share it with you for ages. It really is one of those great things to have in your arsenal heading into the weekend and has so many applications. It gives a certain richness to the meat. It's like the blue cheese almost sort of follows the veins of the marbling through the beef itself. Today we're going to use rump cap and take the fat off the cap and then use that rendered down as the actual cooking medium once it's been soaked in milk and blue cheese for as long as you dare. First things first, I'm just going to bang the whole onion in the fireplace. Now I'm going to get half of these grapes and just put them on the hearth of the fireplace so they shrivel up a little bit, sort of get a little more candied and strong. I've got a rump cap here and we're just going to take off the fat and the sinew. Using a nice sharp knife, just going to clean away some of that. I'm sure Jesse, I'm sure Jazz is going to love some of these trimmings, aren't you, Bob? We're going to take the fat off from this side. Now normally I would leave the fat on, but for this particular technique I like to take it off so that we can render it and then use it as a cooking medium or save it for another application. Now you can see that that's all nicely trimmed up. We'll cut it into 3 chunks, okay? We've got 1, 2. And then that exposes that really gorgeous marbling. Now to render the fat, we want to put the fat straight in our pot that we've cut off the top, saving the little sinewy bits for the dog, I suppose. Now I've put some water into there so the fat doesn't scorch, and we're going to put that on the stove to simmer. Some of this Olsen's rare gin salt, which I think is going to be really delicious and echo some of the flavours we're going to use here. So a nice little sprinkling of salt. And into that we're going to add our gorgonzola. And that can just be put all over the top. We're going to add some milk as well. Now that just needs a bit of a squidge. Jazzy. Now my recommendation is that fortune favours the brave. And to be honest, the absolute sweet spot here is about 4 days in the milk and blue cheese. Look, if you want to do it for a few hours, fine. But really, if you've got the patience to get ready midweek, ready for the weekend, bang it in a container, cover it lightly and let it sit there for 3 or 4 days and the results will be mind-blowing. Now as a beautiful little accompaniment to the beef, I'm just going to sliced, almost like a remoulade I suppose. Okay, so into our kohlrabi, I'm going to put some mustard. AIM got some fantastic mustard from the Bruny Island Cheese Company the other day. This one's a horseradish mustard. It's an absolute ripper. So just a little teaspoon of mustard into our kohlrabi, and we'll also do a little tiny bit of regular salt. In fact, quite a bit. I do like it. This is a very yummy condiment. Clove of garlic here, which we can just slice up thinly to the kohlrabi, and the salt will start to break that down. Oh, the smell of that raw garlic is amazing. And of course, some lemon juice into there. A bit more of a stir. And then just pop that off to the side at room temperature. until it softens and you're ready to have your steak. Now, the onion's just caramelizing in the oven and the grapes are sitting on the hearth, getting a lick of smoke, just shriveling up slightly. So I've just got the beef fat rendering in a pot of water, simmering away. It'll clarify and clean. As the water boils off, we'll end up with a beautiful clear white fat that we can use for just about anything. Now, when these guys have marinated sufficiently, and that's entirely up to you, trust me, we're actually going to poach it in the marinade. So I just want to get all of this meat, which is our family dinner, with the cheese and the milk, and put it into a nice snug pot. Top it up with a little more milk. So it's just submerged. And we're going to poach it very gently in it, and that can go on the stove. But for now, it's just about bringing that fridge temp milk and cheese and herbs and beef just slowly up to temperature, like a warm bath, just languidly laying in there and slowly infusing and getting stronger and stronger. For the kale, I'm just going to trim off the ends and give them a little bit of a peel so they're not so woody. Now that is beautifully rare and poached in the milky cheese. And at this point in time, I'm going to hang it up over the smoky fire. So for that, I'm going to grab myself a hook. Just get it ready to go. Now, that onion smells amazing. It's like gooey in the middle, crunchy on the outside, and the grapes, well, they've taken on a smoky, sort of tacky quality. So we'll turn that into a salad and cook up the beef. Okay, so with this onion all blistered and smoky on the outside, what I actually need to do, it's very hot, just lift it off. We're going to cut the onion in half. Trying to be very careful that we don't get all the ash over the middle part of the onion. Now that is just gooey deliciousness, isn't it really? So that can come out. It's hot. Just try to pull these petals out. Two types of oil, this beautiful Pendleton Estate orange oil, which will form part of our dressing. And I've also got some fantastic oil from my mate Dimitri, who got it from his family, and it's really creamy and rich and peppery. I'm also going to add a slug of my mate Kyle's honey from Fishery Falls. So just a little bit of that really gorgeously perfumed tropical honey. And then some more lemon juice to help offset some of that sweetness from the honey and the onions. Some of these roasted grapes. So I love that contrast between the roasted, sticky, sort of hot and caramelized grapes. And we'll also put in some of the fresh, uncooked ones, which are a little more tart and crunchy. Okay, time to cook some beef. So, if you move those guys off to the side, and we'll do this one here. Just need to use our rendered beef fat to brush the beef and get it all glossy and ready for the barbecue. A little more salt. There you go. Just cooking it back in its own fat. While that's happening, we can cook off the kale, just a little bit of the beef fat. Now that guy is beautifully cooked. And just put that off to rest for a couple of seconds. Blue cheese beef. We just want to get a few slices. Just lay these over the top. Beautiful, crispy kale. It's been roasted in the beef fat. A little bit more of that dressing. And there we go, guys. Blue cheese beef, roasted onions, grapes, kohlrabi, and kale. Delicious.
So good.
Yummy?
No, I mean it. You should put it on the menu.
I reckon I should put it on the menu.
No, I mean it. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I think that's my favourite thing. Like,